Hamas has proposed releasing more hostages under a new Gaza ceasefire deal. It's after new negotiations were held on Saturday. 9 hostages would be released in exchange for a 60-day truce and Israel releasing Palestinian prisoners. Israel is yet to respond publicly to the deal. Israel has continued a major new offensive in Gaza named Operation Gideon's Chariots. Local officials say some 300 people have been killed since Thursday, including 58 who died in airstrikes on Saturday. Well, let's speak to our correspondent in Jerusalem, Wira Davies. Wira, what else do you know about this new deal?
Well, look, the deal hasn't been struck yet, and there are a few concrete details coming out of Qatar, but that's perhaps no bad thing. There appear to be a few points on which both sides seem to be agreed. That's according to what the BBC understands. Hamas would release 9 of the remaining hostages who are still alive in exchange for a 60-day truce. Also, a number of Palestinian prisoners would be released from Israeli jails. And critically, because of the desperate humanitarian situation in Gaza, around 400 trucks of aid would be allowed in every day as well as part of the deal. Those are the things that perhaps both sides can agree on. There are significant sticking points. The biggest one seems to be, would there be a negotiated end to the war as part of the ceasefire deal, or would Israel, as they did after the last ceasefire agreement, would Israel resume the fighting and its attacks on Gaza? That appears to be the biggest problem. Israel has always maintained the right to continue the war in Gaza, to defeat Hamas. Hamas negotiators seem to want some sort of agreement to work towards an end of the war as part of the deal. Meanwhile, as the peace talks continue, there's been no let-up in the fighting in Gaza. Israel is continuing with this big new offensive. There were reported attacks in southern Gaza and Al-Mawasi overnight, and that is significant because Al-Mawasi was designated as a safe area earlier on in the war, somewhere to where Palestinians displaced from their homes because of the fighting could go in relative safety. But on several occasions, of course, the area has been hit in Israeli airstrikes. Israel says it's attacking Hamas positions, but it's clear that several Palestinians have been killed in those Israeli attacks over recent days. But the big fear, of course, is if those talks in Qatar do not come up with an agreement, that Israel has said it will go ahead with this big enhanced military push into Gaza, Operation Gideon's Chariots, that would involve a significant escalation of the military operation in Gaza.
Just briefly, this deal comes off the back of significant loss of life in Gaza in recent days, hasn't it? And I mean, just how intense have the strikes been this week?
Yeah, throughout the week, Israel has been stepping up the intensification of its airstrikes across Gaza. On Friday, we had perhaps the biggest Israeli military incursion from land, sea and air into northern Gaza. I think that was a portent of things to come. Israel clearly indicating, as it has threatened to do many times in recent weeks, that this big enhanced military operation with thousands of reserve soldiers, that has already started. And I think it will, again, as I say, it will step up if the peace talks if the ceasefire talks in Doha fail.
Wira Davies there, thank you.